Hey, what's up, YouTube? We're here in a small town called Kenilworth, New Jersey, where the inspiration for the Sopranos sort of has history here. Simone Paul DeCavalcante, leader of the DeCavalcante crime family here in New Jersey, had many businesses here, and he was known as Sam the Plumber because he owned a lot of HVAC and plumbing supply stores here. We're gonna go take a look. So as I said before, the Cavalcante crime family was what the Sopranos used as their inspiration. They were, they started out as a pretty small group here in New Jersey, but then they ended up gaining a lot of power, rivaling some of the five families in New York. And Sam the Plumber, when he started out, was actually a liaison between like the mafia, like commission, I guess you could say, and the Bonanno crime family. And he worked his way up the ranks, and he turned the New Jersey, basically glorified crew, as they would say in Sopranos, into actually formidable crime family. As you can see, this is like the main street of Kenilworth. This is where Sam the Plumber had a lot of his businesses. You can kind of see, actually, they still have a lot of like Italian influence. I'll show you a bit more later. But in the 60s all the way into a little bit of the 80s, this was like a majority Italian run town, and Sam the Plumber would have his businesses around this street. I mean, I can't find anything confirming that, but it is said that this main street here is where they said his stuff was. So here you can see some more Italian businesses, and it said that he actually had wiretaps put into his offices all around his plumbing businesses here in Kenilworth. One of the more famous like quotes is, he was caught for planning a murder, and he asked one of his soldiers, he said, "Jack, what happened to Pickles 2 weeks after he broke away from me?" And Jack just said he got killed, and that actually led to how he got arrested. And I meant to say, and that's not the only thing that got him arrested. He had a lot of conspiracy charges on him. He had a plan to extort like thousands of dollars over like a 6-week period. In Philly, there was like an illegal dice game going on, and he got in trouble for that as well. The way that went down is that he sent 2 of his soldiers there, one by the name of Daniel Annunziata and another one that they called Corky. He sent them to the game trying to act as if they knew that the dice were loaded, meaning it was rigged, and then they staged a holdup there for about, I think it was $20,000. The FBI also went to one of his places of business here in Kenilworth, and they found 3 pistols and a shotgun in his office, which then led to more evidence leading to his arrest. So also a little bit of controversy is that in his businesses in Kenilworth, they were wiretapped, as you know, but they said it was illegally wiretapped, so none of the information that they got from those wiretaps could be used against him in court. But the FBI came out and said that they didn't actually make the arrest on Sam the Plumber because of those illegal wiretaps, and they put it on other information that they had. Now this is like the actual street that they said he had his businesses on. This is called Washington Street, or Washington Ave, I should say. And all along here, all the way from here to down there, like I was showing you before, was said to have, you know, plumbing and HVAC supply stores that were all a front for his, you know, illegal gambling and racketeering and all those other businesses that he had. Who knows if this guy has any members from the DeCavalcante family there. I'm sure like this place is such a far cry from what it used to be in like the 60s and 80s. None of the businesses back then probably stand today. Also, more on the Sopranos inspiration. I don't know if you guys watch the show or not, but there was a character named Vito Spadafore who also was taken inspiration by another member of the Cavalcante crime family. His name was Johnny Boy, John D'Amato. He was a bisexual member. He reached as high as acting boss for the crime family. He was a made man, and he was seen engaging in like homosexual activity, and I believe it did also take place in New York when he did that. And he was murdered in Brooklyn in 1992. D'Amato's girlfriend was, you know, getting upset with him and told the current boss at the time that D'Amato was, you know, engaging in these activities. She told him that they would go on like swinger encounters, and D'Amato would, you know, involve himself in relations with a lot of men, she said. So on top of that, they also said that he was stealing, you know, from the family, but maybe they just said that to give like a real reason to get rid of the guy. There was also a feeling that a lot of the members of the Cavalcante crime family thought that D'Amato was under control by John Gotti, and he had too much like New York influence, and they were afraid that he might either break off and go to their family, or that he was ruining them internally. But ultimately, everyone knew the reason is that, you know, being gay in that line of work and with that culture just doesn't sit right with them, and they were afraid that nobody would even take him seriously if they sent that guy in as their boss. And some people suggest that he was buried in Linden, New Jersey, but that's actually not true. His body was never found, so I don't think it would be buried in Linden. And my mistake, actually, D'Amato was the acting boss at the time of his murder, and then they went and appointed Amari as the new acting boss. Shortly after he was murdered, by the way, his brother was released from prison, so they set up a whole thing to kill Frank D'Amato before he could get revenge on them, but they actually never went through with it. So the murder happened in 92, but in 2003, Philip Abramo and Giuseppe Schlafiti, is that how you say his name? Schlafiti, were both charged with the murder for D'Amato and many other crimes. And much like it happens in any type of crime, a lot of the, you know, reputed members would actually testify against their former associates to receive less jail time. And then in 2006, Abramo, Schlafiti, and Vitable were all sentenced to life in prison for this. Palermo, Capo, and Rotondo were actually the people that testified against them. There's actually a place over there called can't zoom in, but there's a place over there called Bella Palermo. I'm sure it's about the place in Italy, but maybe it has something to do with these guys because they were all connected here in Kenilworth. And it was founded in 1907, and it was actually under the name New Orange. But, you know, this thing keeps cutting out a bit, but I just wanted to say they named it New Orange, but then they changed the name to Kenilworth in 1907 because there's also, you know, other Orange County, Essex Orange. There's a lot of oranges here in New Jersey, so to avoid confusion, they just went with the name Kenilworth. But yeah, that's the video. This one was definitely worse than the other one I did, but I'm getting into the swing of things, trying to find new places. Hey, if anybody wants, you can comment in the video. Tell me where you want me to go next, preferably around the New Jersey, New York area. And I'll go there, check it out for you. I'm into like dark history places here in Kenilworth. There is a big dark history, you know, mob controlled town basically. So I'm into things like that. Let me know, and I'll see you guys next video.